Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Level Up podcast. I am your co-host, Brendan Payne. Greg is out today, but we are excited to bring you a great podcast with Beau Blankenship. And Beau is coming to us from the Gulf Coast of Florida, down in, if you've heard of 30A, that's the area that Beau covers. So, Beau, thank you for hopping on to the Level Up podcast. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Absolutely. So now I know you are part of Beau Blankenship Group, which is within, you have an Angle and Volker's real estate company there along Florida, and then a team with inside of there. So for those that may not know you, maybe just give us a little bit of rundown on kind of your history in the business and where you started and where you're sitting today.
Yeah, for sure. So after me and my wife got married, we moved straight down here. I was playing sports at the time. After that ended, I went directly into real estate and started a property management company simultaneously. We ended up selling the property management company a few years later, but I was getting more and more into sales. I was with a boutique company. I guess this is my 6th year in sales, and so grew the sales side, kept growing, added an assistant and added team members. And then I think it was year 3, I decided to start my own brokerage. I saw what the market was doing. So I wanted to bring an international luxury brokerage here. So we partnered with EV. So we brought them here, opened that up, went from, 7 agents to we're around 80 right now. And my team, I've got a team of about 6 or 7 people within there. And we've hired a broker to help run the whole brokerage, because we want to service everybody. We've got the marketing team, onboarding team, director of operations, all that. So she kind of helps run the brokerage. And then I'm really sales focused with my team and really competitive in that environment. And that's kind of where we are today.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask a few clarifying questions to unpack some of that, because you just went through probably most people's career over the course of, you've been doing this for 7 years. So you moved down to Florida, and how did you opened a rental company? You purchased a rental company. Why'd you get into that side?
I just started. I was scared to jump into real estate, without some like what's the word, some income, like guaranteed income, or sure thing. So because real estate is scary, it's like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, blah 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 blah.
Sure.
And so I was like, I'd like to start something that I know is going to be something we can kind of count on financially. So I started that, and then the real estate side really fed that. So we built that up very, very quickly. We grew it to, I think, 55 homes in a matter of like a year and a half or 2 years, something like that. And then so just started them together and just kind of partnered with them, and ended up being approached to sell it, 2 years after starting it.
Wow. And so the rental management side of it, I'm assuming, were you doing that along 38 too? Is it short-term rentals?
Yeah, all short-term rentals. And
okay.
We built a team, had a company there, and so it was great. But it's just, we decided to run with that offer.
Yeah, for sure. So in the big difference for those that are listening that have thought about, like, how does somebody sell a rental management company in a short period of time? He's not talking about, you've got a 1,600 square foot home that rents for $1,800 and you're getting 12% of the monthly revenue, which you can't, you got to have 300-400 doors to make something like that happen.
Yeah.
You are in a resort market where you've got what's your rental season? Probably 8 months.
Yeah, it's probably, that's probably about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a big income opportunity fairly quickly. You built it. Somebody comes in and buys you out. By that time, you see what's happening in the general brokerage and the sales. So you start leaning into that. You mentioned you brought Angle Volkers in, and I'm interested to hear, like, was that strategic? Because you said I brought them in and as a luxury brand, because that's their thing. Tell us about, like, how did you make that decision? Because you could have went with anyone.
So could have gone with anybody. So I guess it was year 2. I went on like I think it was a $2.5 million listing appointment. I didn't get it because they're like, hey, you don't have a luxury international brand, so we're going to go with this other person. And I ended up, I knew it should have been my listing. I had the buyer for it. I sold it a week later.
Oh,
right? So I brought the buyer. They didn't give it to me. I sold it a week later. Brought the buyer to it, and I said, man, if I'm going to not, if people are going to just not choose me because I don't have that brand behind me, I need to look at something. And I'm very, very competitive, and I like to build companies. And so I interviewed with a few companies, like Sotheby's was here and some other stuff. And I was like, man, I just want to do my own thing. And so EV just provided a lot of the tools we wanted. It had a great name. It was in all our feeder markets. So it was just a really, really good fit. So I decided to bring them here because I saw the way the market was going. So our price points were going through the roof. We're seeing just mega prices and people moving here from all over California, New York, Chicago, buying these homes. And these homes, if they're going to buy them as investment, some of these homes will do $500,000 a year in rental income. And so they're buying them. So it was just high net worth people. So we wanted to be able to cater to them, to everyone, but I wanted to give everyone a fighting chance for that, $3 to $10 million home. And so that's kind of, we brought them here, and it's been good.
Interesting that you looked and saw where you don't hear a lot of agents, even with a short or the 6-7 years in the business, you don't hear a lot of agents talk about feeder markets, and that's something that's very unique to. We're in a couple of resort markets, and they're the lifeblood. Like you have to know where your people are coming from, and usually it's probably 8 to 10 larger markets that are driving the majority of the people, especially in vacations. People vacation in the same spots that their neighbors do, and their neighbors, the whole state of Illinois. I grew up outside Chicago. We always went to Florida for vacation. We never went to Myrtle Beach. And so that's interesting.
Yeah. So we make sure to be connected to Nashville, Dallas, Oklahoma City, all around here, Birmingham, Atlanta, Houston, all these cities. But now we're seeing it from people come from California, Columbus, New York. So we're seeing it really, really grow. Like it kind of was a secret at the time, like not a big deal, but now it's kind of like people are from all over coming.
Yeah, it's blown up. Okay. So you started the we'll call it franchise. You started the company, and it was just you and your team. Then where where you're at now, when you're looking at growth, what's that mean for what you're doing? Is it team related? Is it growing the business with agent? Is it investing?
So it's kind of three different things. I try to keep it separate. So I look at my team volume, I look at the company volume, and then the personal investing side, and I kind of run them all, together. And so growth wise, we're, like I said, very competitive. And so, I want to be top as as high as I can in sales, and the brokers, I want to be number one, and all that kind of stuff. And then investing the same way. So I'm looking at growth in all of them. I have the right people to kind of help me. So I've got Libby Rusin, who helps run the brokerage here for me. And she helps us keep on the right page, add the right people, make sure our support system's there. And while I know that's in good hands, I do high level, conversation stuff and high level decisions and finances and where we're moving and who we're adding and stuff like that. So I keep my hand in that and see where we are production wise. And then I really focus on the sales side and investing side. That's the majority of my time. But I don't know if that answers your question, but we try to grow significantly in all of them. And, this year as a company, we'll try to hit $1 billion. As a team, we're going to try to hit 500 million. Then the investing side, we're just always trying to grow in that realm.
So on your personal team, are you still in production?
Yes, I am. Yep. So I mainly handle listings. I've got, my team members will help me with those listings. We've got some people that help us with showings, and we got people that handle the buyers, the open houses, the calls, leverage our numbers, our production, and the brand to help get more listings. And then that's kind of our model.
Got it.
So I'm in production. I don't do a ton. I don't do a ton of like showings and stuff like that, but I'm still actively helping them.
Yeah. And it seems like everybody, once you get to that point where you get stabilized and then you actually have some residual income, and then you start buying some investment, it seems like everybody wants to get out of production because they're just like, I just don't want to do this stuff. But Greg and I both are still in production at some level. We're not going out and making 30 contacts a day like we were in the first year in business, but
Yep.
the two benefits is that I don't think anybody can have the pulse of the market unless
Yep.
as well as you can, is if you're in it, you're actually
Yep.
in the market. I think that's
Yep.
one huge thing. And I
Mhm.
got to assume that your team has got, you've got a level of credibility with them, because you're not the guy just sitting here and saying, hey, go do this. You're
Yeah,
actually doing it alongside them. Do you see
for
that?
sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you have to. If I were to step out of production, I just feel like it would, take a massive hit, right? And so I've got my, finger on the pulse. I know, and that helps me with investing too. If I'm building a spec
Yeah.
home and all of that, it just runs together. But yeah, I'm running beside them and doing the stuff they're doing, sending out the same stuff. So, and the stuff I'm handing them, it's stuff either I've nurtured or whatever that I've got my finger on that I can, pass on to them.
Got it. So you mentioned a couple of times ultra competitive, which I don't think
Yep.
you can't reach a high level of performance in anything without being competitive. What are a
Right.
couple other things that you think have allowed you to to make the jumps in terms of the production, not only sales wise, but what you're doing with the investments and stuff? What allowed you to kind of make that transition into this industry?
I think like I said, competitive, but really, I think the Lord has just opened up some doors that we've just been able to walk through and really see opportunity that we've just been able to take advantage of, and just really be able to see things that, make sense to me, and it's just really helped me. But I think all the success just really comes from the Lord and being able to walk through that and kind of see that, and see the opportunities. But along with that, you have to be competitive. You have to be diligent. You have to be, put in the work, put in the hours, make the calls, and do all that stuff. And then over time, that stuff transitions to, or transfers to, hopefully income or listings or whatever.
Yeah. And now that you're on, you're in the production side of it, and you've shown that you can actually do it, but you're growing your team, you're growing your company. Have you seen any correlation? You spent, you mentioned it in passing, but you spent some time at higher level sports and athletics. You're a Division I football player, played in the pros for a bit. And so have you seen a correlation between what it takes to perform at a high level in, it could be sports or anything else, and what it takes to perform at a high level in real estate?
Yeah, it's a direct correlation. I think it'd go with anything, but especially in this business, because you learn how to train. What do you have to do to succeed? You learn how to lose. You learn how to win. You've got the competitive nature, the hours it takes to put in to be successful. Like, it's a direct correlation. You just have to shift your mindset to say, it's not my physical body, it's this. And if you can make that, it's the same exact thing. It's just a different mindset of what you're training and what you're trying to win at.
Yeah.
But it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we see with the people we see with the people we hire, if they're in sports and they're competitive, it's just, you just see something different,
Yeah. 100%. I remember sitting down with, because I came from the corporate world before I got in the industry, and I didn't want to leave, and even though had big aspirations, I had a pretty good salary, and I didn't want to leave one day and go to zero overnight. So I had to be sure of where I was ending up. And I sat down with Greg and I asked him, why do people, I think either said, why do people fail, or what's it going to take for me to actually be a success? What do I need to do? And he said, just very clear, he didn't have to think about it. He said, there's three things. He said, first is you got to be coachable. And he said, did you play sports? I said, yeah. He said, then did you understand that when you showed up, somebody was showing you how to do it the right way, and you just said, okay, I'll do that, coach? I said, yeah, I did that plenty of times. Perfect.
Yeah.
So being coachable. The second one is you got to be competitive. Doesn't mean you don't know how to lose. You're a sore loser, but you have to want to win at this game. It's a game, and you have to want to win. You can win fair, you can lose fair, but you've got to have that competitive advantage. And then the third one is you got to be willing to work some sort of schedule. And you don't show up for practice, you don't play. You don't show up for the game, you're out. Right. You don't do your schoolwork, you're out. So those things really, they resonated. You got to
100%. And you see the people that succeed with the company are here from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they're doing the open house. Like, if you don't have that kind of schedule, like the people that aren't succeeding with the company, you can point to it. I mean, it's clear cut. If you want to succeed, you can, right?
Yeah.
But no, he hit it right on the head there.
Yeah. So where are you going? Where are you going now? Like when you see, obviously in a short period of time, what you've been able to create, what's the next 5-year vision that you've got? I mean, you're in an incredible market. You know, it's kind of sky's the limit, I think, but what are your priorities right now?
Really growing the company. I want the company to be as successful as possible. And I want it to be the number one company. I want to expand. You know, I want to have the right people. We have a great culture of people within the company. I want to keep that and add the right people and grow the right way. So that's number one, is just getting it to where it's just, you know, a really, really well-oiled machine with the right people. And then with the team, you know, probably keep growing here and then expanding into other markets potentially. But I want to get the team kind of sustainable. Without me right now, it's not. Not that I want to get out of production, but I want it to be able to be sustainable without me. So I then can go focus on if I want to go to, you know, Wyoming or Aspen or whatever it is and sell there, you know, and just kind of have some of that. So that's really where we're going. Just continue to go upwards.
Just duplicate and just pick the next location.
Try to do it again. Yeah.
Got it. So I'm interested to hear in a market like this where I think there's always a direct correlation between, at least with the consumer confidence is through the roof for sellers. So the value proposition that agents bring is tougher and tougher because the sellers all think, you know, all you got to do is put a sign in and put it on the MLS, it's going to sell. So it's kind of the same with agents. When you're talking to an agent, what's a value proposition that you've got for your new agents because they all, you know, people are getting in the business and making a few $100,000 their first year, and a lot of that's market driven. So how do you bring value and grow, you know, people that you know are going to be around in that type of environment?
I think it's, you know, I think what we do is, you know, because if a new agent comes here and to compete in this market in a $2 or $3 million listing or whatever it is, and this is kind of why we have the brands. Like, all right, they don't have any credibility. They've got nothing, but you've got the company numbers to leverage. It's like, hey, if you give us an opportunity, we'll get you in Wall Street Journal, Mansions Global, New York Times. We have this exposure in this feeder market. We can do this, and this. We have all the options for them. So all their inexperience for a new agent is kind of away. I mean, you just cut it away. You eliminate 99.9% of the competition because of the company you're joining and what you can offer them. And so most of these people are high net worth individuals. They want to have a company that's recognized, that's going to get them in Mansions Global, that's going to get them in DuPont Registry, all that kind of stuff. So being able to provide that instantly without ever selling a home, you really eliminate most of the competition.
Yeah, makes sense. And, you know, for those listening, whether or not it's Beau giving that new agent that information to cover with them, that's part of their package. The reality is it comes down to being able to actually speak with confidence on what you do. And so when I ask, what's your value proposition for your agents, Beau knows exactly what it is. Now that might not be everything to every single agent. Somebody might not even have thought of that. But when they hear him say, well, this is what we give our agents, they're like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Your sellers and your buyers are the same way. It's not about what you say, it's about how you deliver it and the fact that you know the answer.
Right. And so, and for new agents, what I tell them is that, hey, you have the opportunity to make as much money as you want. But so you can take these tools, you're going to have every tool you can ever think of to be successful. But if you don't know the market and can't speak with confidence and know every detail, you know, what's sold off market, what's the price per square foot instantly, you know, these savvy people are going to be able to sniff out that you don't know what you're doing. You're dead. Right. So, but if you have those two things, like there's no reason you can't be successful.
Yeah. Anything unique for those that might be thinking, you know what, I'm tired of being in the middle of nowhere, this little town, and you know, there's X amount of transactions. I hear about these resort markets. What do you think is unique about being able to operate in? I know I've got my ideas, but what do you think is unique about operating as a real estate professional in these resort markets?
It's different. I can't imagine selling in a non-resort market. You know, I thought about that not too long ago, I was like, man, I don't even know how you function here. Like, so we show on turn days when renters are checking out, and we, there's times we never even meet the owner. Like, we just did a deal, barely were in the house, barely met the owner, haven't even met the owner, and just like selling that way. It's all virtually, and so it's different. And I don't know how to, I guess, answer that. It's unique. It's the turnover's crazy high because they're second homes and they want to upgrade and get closer to the beach or get on the beach or downsize. It's just crazy turnover. You don't meet them a lot. You don't meet the people a lot. You don't. Everything's sold furnished. It's just really, really different. I don't know if that answers it. But,
it hits several of the points that, as I look back, I go, I could have ended up anywhere, and I think I would have found, I would have figured out, would have had success doing what I did here. But it's so efficient because you show up, if you're going to do some sort of generating in this business in a resort market, you show up, and everybody that doesn't live in the market that they own a property wants to know what's going on. So there's never a call or a conversation where somebody's not interested in what you have to talk about with an update. It could be a mailer, could be an email drip, could be a phone call. They all want to know. And we have clients all the time. I probably have not met 60 to 70% of my clients over 15 years because of that. And you can be pretty efficient with that. And I think the other part that has it forced me to understand more than, I like the backyard, I like the curtains, I like this, I like the school district. People are spending money on stuff that, even when they tell you, it's just a second home, I don't need to rent it, it's a numbers game. And you have to understand the investment side of this business in a resort market, and you're forced to.
100%. But you touched on something good there about like having a conversation or a cold call with somebody. I don't care where you're from. And, like, I think if I'm in a primary market, I feel like I'd have to know everybody, all the doctors, and create all of this loyalty, which you want here, but it just seems like exhausting because there's going to be, oh yeah, my cousin lives here and blah, 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 blah. Like here, it's like, you can call someone from, California you never met before, like, oh yeah, I like your proposition, whatever, and just list with you. It's just much, much different. I just don't know what it would be like in a primary market.
Yeah. And I would be willing to bet that if we sent each other, a CMA for a neighborhood and gave it a couple hours, then we could probably hold each other's appointments and have a good shot at securing the listing. Just because give me the market data, the conversation is going to be the same, figuring out motivation, and it's a second home. So, that's pretty empowering when you know what, I think I'm tired of South Carolina. Maybe I need to move here. Maybe I need to move here. It's just rinse and repeat.
100%.
Awesome. Well, hey, I really appreciate you hopping on. I think you've given a lot of great points for some good takeaways and stuff for our audience. So I appreciate that. If there's somebody out there that is, whether they're looking at coming down and buying something, beautiful, beautiful beaches, beautiful area, or they're maybe somewhere close by or moving in and decide maybe I need to get into this business, and you sound like you're a good fit. How do people get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Man, my phone number is easy. So I'm always on my phone. So I don't know if that's going to be in the link or anything. But the phone number, my email, Instagram, Blankenship Group, our website, blankenshipgrp.com. You can get us at all of those. Send us any kind of message, Facebook, Instagram, any of that, and we'll get to you ASAP. Okay.
Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll cross paths again. I said before we started recording, that's on the list of places my wife and I want to get down to, but it's kind of like Myrtle Beach. There's no easy way to get there. It's just, so we gotta get that on the schedule though.
Yeah. Well, man, thanks for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And for our audience, thank you guys again for checking in, and please go ahead and leave us a review, subscribe, and it allows us to continue to get great guests like Beau. And the reviews, whether they're good, bad, indifferent, it's okay, because we're going to take a look at them and use them to improve the content that we're bringing you. So until next time, from Greg and I, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.